Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Vasalut, and let the weekend begin. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad we made it through another one. Yes, I know most of you still have a half a work day, but let's face it, after lunch on a Friday, you're just watching the clock. That's what's really going on, if we're completely honest. Let's say hi to everybody who's here in the chat, starting with Big Al at Big Al Presents, who says, "Ooh, Garnish chat." Hello, all liquid lunchers. Have a great weekend. Have a great stream, Martini Maestro. I like that. Thank you. I'll take that moniker. Absolutely, I will. Netters Network dropping in to call me the love of her life and ask all of you to like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, gift a membership, super chat, super thanks, or, just put in a good word for me with the big cat at the top of the stairs. Anything you can do to support me would absolutely be a wonderful, wonderful thing that I would greatly appreciate. Lynn Green is under the weather today, listening in bed. Have a great show. I'm sorry to hear that. Check out Netter's stream from last night. Maybe get some ideas of some things that might at least help you feel better, if not truly outright heal you. But I do hope you feel better. Jonathan Conroy says, "Hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show." Yes, I hope you enjoy the show as it leads you into a weekend that I hope you will also enjoy. Aged Boomer, my partner in crime, whom if you are not subscribed to him, make sure that you are. This guy has been my partner for years now. He is the cornerstone of this channel, and he is criminally undersubscribed. We need to get his numbers up. Please let me help him in that regard, hit that subscribe button, share out his channel on your socials, and tell everybody they should be following this guy. He says liquid lunch gets you through the day. I like to think so. At least it'll get you over that midday hump, I suppose. Let's see here. There's the guy. Corey of Wilkie's Movies and Music is here because he knows that we are all going to schlep on over to his channel as soon as this stream ends, because that's what we do around here on Fridays. That's our weekend. It's liquid lunch, and then it's Wilkie's Movies and Music. That is how it goes. The Horror King stops in to say hi, Troy. Welcome, Horror King. Good to see you. Joe's Atmosphere. The Midday Mixologist is here. Drive by, like, and share. Thank you so much. Yes, Joe's Atmosphere is the king of the shares of streams on the social medias. I super appreciate him for that. He is absolutely wonderful. So let's go ahead. Well, you know what? Let's not get into it just yet. I want to take a little quick divergence because it's my show, and I can talk about whatever I want to. We'll get to the main topic in a minute, but I'm going to talk about something that's probably of absolutely no interest to any of you. Netter and I watched a movie last night from a couple of years ago. Probably you never heard about it, but I don't know. I see Big Al and I see Wilkie's Movies and Music in there, and I know that they're, pretty savvy on new films that come out. The movie was called Jolt, which of course gets me thinking, that cola that I used to drink in my college days. But it's a movie, I believe it was an Amazon original. So it wasn't, I don't think it was released in theaters. I think it was released directly to Amazon, starring Kate Beckinsale. And my first impression, and the implied question, and now it's going to be the overt question. Anyone else seen this movie, Jolt, with Kate Beckinsale? My first impression from, the opening of the film was, damn, this is a huge exposition dump. So very clunky storytelling, in my opinion. Netter caught a pretty major plot hole. Not plot hole. I think it's a continuity error, to be honest with you. But I would have easily overlooked it. But she catches those kinds of things. And the wrap up to the movie, as satisfying as it was one of those endings where, like, the next day I'm thinking about it and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, and without giving away there's a very satisfying twist ending that I'm not going to give away, but it leaves me thinking, why? So the twist ending is finding out who the real bad guy is, and you're like, why is this, horrible, evil, baddie being all Mr. Big Al says knows of it, never saw it. Okay, fair enough. And by the way, welcome Connie Cleary as well. But never got around to that one. Okay, but apparently it sounds like you've heard of it. Okay. Oh, that's what got his attention. Joe's like, Kate Beckinsale, you say? Yes. Here's what I will say about it. The premise for the film is essentially what She-Hulk should have been. This would have been a good She-Hulk movie, is what this would have been. Although the exposition at the beginning, the tell instead of show bothered the hell out of me. But once you get past the intro, you start getting into story. And the reason I saw the movie was, you guys know, you're on social media and you see those little shorts and it gives you a scene from the movie, and it kind of hooks you. And then you got to go scroll through all the comments. You know, what the hell is the name of the movie to figure it out? Yes, knowing it was Kate Beckinsale doesn't help. She's got a very long IMDb, you know. So that's why we ended up watching the movie. But you get this whole long exposition of this British voice just chatting. It might have actually been Kate Beckinsale's voice now looking back. I'm not sure. But just rattling off the history of this kid growing up to adulthood. The very first scene is the scene that's clipped, you know, on social media of her going on a blind date. And I'm like, wait a minute. After, you know, you see the basically how the date goes. And it's like, wait a minute. That went so quick. It's like, how did this date come about? Was she on an app? Was she, you know, set up by friends? We got none of that. We got all this exposition about her life and her condition and what she went through as a child, and, you know, her best friend's dog's, you know, neighbor and stuff. But we don't get the basic questions about how she's on this date and why. And but it gets better. It gets better from there. But trick cameo at the end too by someone that I used to like and don't care much for anymore. And the ultimate ending kind of feels like a setup for another movie or a streaming series or something. But I'm hoping to watch Puppet Master 2 on Shudder later this evening, simply because I haven't seen that movie in ages. I love the Puppet Master series. I love them all. Yeah, double check and see if I have those. Anyway, Jolt with Kate Beckinsale. I'm not really recommending it, but if you have the opportunity to see it and you don't have to pay for it, maybe check it out and let me know what y'all think. Das Wurfen got here just as I'm about to get into my main topic. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let me share my screen as let me F11 this so that you can see it as big and bright as we can possibly get it. And share the screen, entire screen there. You don't need the sound. There we go. Okay. Not that there should be any sound at all anyway. I'm not going to get too into the history of the martini. We've done that already. I know that's what a lot of you are thinking. What? Every time you have a martini, you're going to go back and rehash the history of the martini? No. But I do at least have to give a quick background and recap as we get into the details I'm going to get into. One of those details is saying hi to PJ of Orville Nation. Salute, my friend. Good to see you. I hope you are about to have a wonderful weekend. That is my goal for everybody here today. So let's start with a brief history of the martini. Martinis are a classic cocktail. Let me give attribution here. This comes from Christianers, celebrating 32 years of legendary dining, apparently. This is not a paid sponsorship. They had the information that I wanted to cover. Martinis are a classic cocktail known for being both elegant and sophisticated. Served chilled and simplistic in structure, this drink tastes better when only the finest ingredients are used. The classic recipe for a martini calls for London dry gin and dry vermouth, using a ratio of 2-to-1, served straight up into a chilled cocktail glass. But the martini is far from a one-trick pony. The ratio can be altered, and the classic gin can be exchanged for vodka. Yes, it can be, which I've done in a pinch. This results in martinis such as a dessert martini with not a drop of vermouth to a perfect martini that uses equal parts sweet and dry vermouth before adding a 3-to-1 of gin. The specific definition of the martini is a cocktail traditionally made with gin and vermouth. Classically, it is garnished with an olive or lemon twist, but this well-known cocktail has been reimagined many times. We are going to get into that. We'll talk about the olive, we'll talk about the lemon twist, and some other garnishes for it. I am not, Das Wurfen says, I am not a big martini fan. I prefer single malt or whiskey. There is a Friday stream that I did talking specifically about whiskey, and we will probably revisit that in more detail on another day when I'm feeling like it's a whiskey night, which on Fridays I often do. We'll get back to that. I will have a single malt from time to time, but I am not much of a beer and ale drinker, generally. Kind of like my grandmother used to say, I don't smoke, but I occasionally have a cigarette socially. I am kind of the same way. I am not a beer or ale drinker, but I will occasionally drink them socially when offered. We're not going to get into the invention of the martini. We've actually done that before. Martinis are made with either vodka or gin. Gin being the traditional choice. This choice will come down to personal preference. A gin martini will have more complex and botanic taste, which I prefer. A little bit of juniper. A vodka martini, on the other hand, will be much smoother. I would smoother, maybe, but I think a better adjective would be cleaner, which isn't necessarily better. Depends on your preference. The garnish, that's what we're focusing on today. Oh, and just to back up and finish what I was saying to Das Wurfen, these things come down to your history and background with these drinks. That's the idea, PJ. Now I want a martini. Thanks, Troy. Yes, exactly. My grandfather was a martini drinker. I swear every time we would go out to dinner, he would order a martini. And I wanted, but, you know, being 8, 12 years old, you're not allowed, right? And they kept buying me Shirley Temples. They kept giving me Shirley Temples with those terrible, terrible candied so-called maraschino cherries. Video on maraschino specifically, a couple weeks ago. Check that out too. But yeah, so when I finally got my alcoholics card punched on my 21st birthday by the woman who would become my wife, it wasn't a martini. She got me sake and Sapporo beer, and I got really wasted on my 21st birthday. But thereafter, the next time I went to a bar and ordered a drink, it was a martini. And I've been experimenting with martinis ever since. Dajrulfin says, I can't drink beer. I'm allergic to hops. Let me tell you something, my friend. I am not allergic to hops, but hops are the reason I don't care much for beer. I don't know what it is with these IPAs that are like hop heavy. You know, it's like, I don't like things hopping around in my drinks, to be honest with you. They're bitter. They're weird. Why did somebody decide hops were a good idea in an otherwise sweety, malty drink? Topic for another day. We'll get back to my issues with hops. But I think we're a little simpatico on that, maybe for different reasons, Das Wolfen. So the garnish. That was the topic I wanted to get to today. The classic martini is garnished with an olive. I don't think I've ever had a single olive in a martini. That seems pointless. However, it isn't your only option. Alternative martini garnishes include fresh fruit, citrus wedge or wheel, citrus peel, Spanish olive, stuffed olive, cocktail onion, or pickled onion. Okay. I'm going to be interested to find out more about fresh fruit. I could see this. My gears are turning now on this because I'm thinking if I'm having a juniper infused spirit, which is what gin is, I could see garnishing it with juniper berries. That would actually be, I'm going to have to look into that. I wonder how difficult it would be to get juniper berries. I might have to look into that. If I can't find fresh ones, I might have to get dried ones and then macerate them in gin. That's my thought. Citrus wedge or wheel. Yes, I can see it, but it seems a bit overmuch to me. The citrus peel makes more sense to me, personally. Oh, here's this sounds like a cool story. First alcohol I ever had was Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill. That was in high school. Those kinds of drinks, especially as your first drink, can be very dangerous. I've heard many a horror story about overindulging and then getting sick. But I am not one to poo-poo cheap sweet wines. I'm not. There is a darn solid tradition to those kinds of things. Just saying. You can get shot at for your country for a whole 3 years before having the right to sit and have a beer. That's very true. What he's referring to is the fact that you can enlist in the military in the United States at the age of 18, but you can't legally drink in most states until you're 21. We should get that fixed someday. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I agree. Yep. My first netter's pointing out that her, yes, I thought that as I was reading the comment. My first drink was Boone's Farm Apple. I was about 11 years old and my sister gave it to me. There you go. Here in Oklahoma, my older brother went from being able to drink and not being able to drink for another year. Yep. I get that. So anyway, let's get back to this. Spanish olive, that's basically your little green cocktail olives, right? Stuffed olives, and there we could spend a great deal of time because olives, basically we're talking about jumbo green olives stuffed with different things. We'll get to that later. Cocktail onions and pickled onions. So I don't know much about pickled onions. I know that cocktail onions are basically those little onions in brine. Very common in martinis, but I honestly have never had any. I wonder if I have any around here. I'll have to take a look. And then we get into how to order them. Dirty, spicy, cheesy martini. The dirty, spicy, and cheesy martini is made with Hansen Organic Habanero Vodka, with filthy olives, pickling brine, and Oregon Creamery blue cheese stuffed olives. They're talking about their own proprietary version of the dirty, spicy, cheesy martini. This martini, as the name suggests, has a spicy punch and a salty taste. You'll also notice the slightest hint of sweetness thanks to the pickling brine. So here's the thing. Dirty martini, either in place of the vermouth or in addition to the vermouth, they pour a little bit of that olive brine into it, right? So you got the olive saltiness, and it literally clouds what would otherwise be a completely clear drink. As soon as you do this, you totally lose all those juniper infusion notes. So if you're going to do a vodka martini, this is the one to do it on. But then on top of the saltiness from the brine, you're also stuffing that olive with blue cheese, which is also a bit salty. I've had this, love it, I really do. My only problem, and it's probably not a terrible problem to have, is that I love those blue cheese stuffed olives so much that I will put 2 or 3 of them into my drink, and after I finish the drink and go to make myself another one, I'll eat like 3, 4, 5 more of those olives, and by the time I've had 2 or 3 martinis, the jar is completely empty. I'm completely out of the blue cheese olives. That's just me. The Meyer Lemon Drop Martini. If you're a fan of sweet lemonade, this is a martini for you. Mostly sweet and a little bit tart. The Meyer Lemon Drop Martini is made with Hanson Organic Meyer Lemon Vodka, fresh lemon juice, a dash of triple sec, sour mix, and simple syrup. That actually sounds really good. Doesn't say how it's garnished. I would absolutely garnish this with a lemon twist, or I suppose a lemon wedge if you're so inclined. I am not going to go out of my way to buy the specific brands that they say, but again, I definitely see this as a vodka drink, not a gin drink. It's kind of pointless. The Espresso Martini. Be interested to hear this one. Get the perfect balance between sweet and bitter with the Espresso Martini. Our Espresso Martini is made with Wheatley vodka, Borghetti espresso liquor, espresso, and a dash of Bailey's and chocolate. It's shaken with ice and served up. That actually sounds really good. I may have to try that one day. Okay. Let me real quick see what you guys are saying here. Raise military age and voting age to 21. That way these kids get some life under their belt before voting. Absolutely. And understanding that they are absolutely within the age range for if they ever reinstitute the draft. Maybe people will start voting more intelligently when they realize that they might be the ones called to go off to foreign wars. That's the idea. I will have to try the lemon drop martini. Yes, right? I'm not doing that tonight. I've already got my martini plans in mind, but in the future, I'm definitely going to be doing that. Definitely. Mech paw! It's lunchtime, says Mark Melnikoff. Late, but here I are. Very good. Well, you just got here in time for the quick commercial break. Just be about 2 minutes. It's a shorter one today, and then we will come back and dive a little bit more deeply into those martini garnishes. Be back in just under 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, a young soprano becomes the obsession of a disfigured and murderous musical genius who lives beneath the Paris Opera House. Her voice became his passion, her love became his obsession, her refusal became his rage. Listen to the music of the night in The Phantom of the Opera. This week on Big Al Presents Films with Friends, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
In a world where nearly all the entertainment is remakes, reboots, and rehashes of older properties, maybe it's worth it to get some commentary from people who experienced it all when it was novel and fresh. Catch Boomer and Pacelli on Geeky Geezers every Sunday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, the superfans will be presenting and discussing the first half of Dynamic 1, featuring a thought-provoking hour of original footage previously only accessible from David Lynch's paid subscription website. Aiming to please not only the die-hard David Lynch completist, but also fans who didn't get the chance to check out the content of his site, this anthology is composed of hand-picked short films, each with an introduction by Lynch and a 20-minute segment with the director answering various questions from members of his website. Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
It's Thursday night, and Netters Network talks to the streamers who have everybody talking. It's Thursday Things, Thursdays at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Netters Network.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Okay, let's get back into it. Let's see, where's share screen? Why did it stop sharing? Add to screen, for crying out loud. Oh, okay. Interestingly, this one, which comes to us from the Martini Whisperer, a site that I think I will have to save. This one was published on my birthday in 2014. How interesting is that? In this post, I want to explore a key part of the Martini that sometimes is sometimes an afterthought, but can be a deal breaker: the garnish. Traditionally, there are three to choose from: the olive with a dirty variation, the lemon twist, and the cocktail onion for the Gibson, which I did talk briefly about in my previous Martini discussion. Have not yet made a Gibson, so can't speak to that one too much. Mark is to Netter's comment about Boone's Farm. I remember all the flavors, never tried them all. But that's where they're. It looks like there's a typo there, but that's where the consistency ends. For each bar person will approach the garnish differently. Every martini is always unique, which is what is so special, even with the same ingredients and maker, and with the variants on the garnish, gin, vermouth, etc. The permutations are endless. I find that a reassuring thought. Yeah, I can drink martinis for the rest of my life and never necessarily have the same one twice. Let's see if I can scroll in here, because this is kind of tiny. There we go. That's a little bit better. But they're there for a reason, to impart the finishing finishing taste notes to the martini, that 5% of the mix of complexity that affects the nose before the first sip. The first sip that gives you the lingering note. Okay, that's poorly worded sentence, but what they're basically saying is you've got this garnish, it's sitting on the edge of your glass, right? So as you go to sip, you are getting the smell of that olive, that onion, that lemon, which is going to impart some flavor as you drink. So it's important. It's important. Real quick, want to say hi to my brother from another mother, Geek Flag with Nate Knows, who's telling everyone to like, share, comment, and become a member. And it lit with Troy. There you go. And then he drops the brown mumbler. Topic for another conversation. Well, actually, we've talked about it in the past. Martinis? Troy, get the toothpicks. Get the toothpicks. Get the stick. Get the stick. I got it. And after you finish that martini, that garnish becomes the final taste on your palate, right? So it's like a flavor sandwich kind of in a way. So Nate is not that taken with mixed drinks. I like my whiskey neat with only a wee dram of cold water. I hear you. I like it neat. but I also like it. I also like my cocktails. Variety is the spice of life, and it is definitely the spice of the Canarble wagon. Olives. Oh, wait a minute. Without them, the martini looks very naked, indeed, and there's something a bit barbaric about drinking without one. The garnish should delight the eye and complete the mixture, and sets up the anticipation of a great martini experience. We'll have to look at the great martini experience another time. I will say that there is something to be said for give me that drink I want to drink right now, and there is I'm looking to relax. I'm looking for the experience. I want the garnish and the ambiance and the relaxation, the elegance, so to speak. I'll get to the point. You want a plain plum green Sicilian style, not the pimento-filled little ones in a jar. Those are the Spanish olives, right? But those are the most common. But I agree with the article. If you can get the plain plum green Sicilian style, that's the kind you want. They're harder to find. It's worth it. Some will skewer the olives and lay them across the glass, my least favorite style, or rub the lemon on the rim and squeeze the oil, apparently, before dropping into the glass. Some get dropped from a great height. Others are placed with great care and show. Worst martini I ever had was served on ice with black olives. Really? No, I didn't drink it. Served on ice? That makes 0 sense. That's anathema to me. I would be willing to try black olives, and I'm going to think that through. Can't just be a standard gin vermouth mixture. I'm going to have to think how best to make a martini that would incorporate black olives. I'll have to think about that. Piped or otherwise, it doesn't really matter, though. I really like those bars that give you a nice little crystal saucer for your pips. That's civilized. I agree. You're after a clean, pure olive flavor, free of oiliness. As the cocktail warms, you're going to get more of the olive taste, and it shouldn't get in the way of the gin or vermouth, but still be pleasant. I agree. I've been naughty and played with anchovy or blue cheese-filled green olives, and there's a time and a place for those. One is usually enough, though. Again, there is a place for the dirty martini, and I think both of those would go really well with a dirty martini. That's not what I'm doing tonight, by the way. I prefer to pour my mix over the olive to get the infusion going rather than drop them in. I had never considered that before. I will keep that in mind going forward. And in bar, this trend is putting them on skewers is both silly and dangerous. You only then have to pull them off and place them in the drink yourself. Annoying. I understand that, but there's also something to be said for the presentation. If you want it laying across the top, you know. Again, I'm a big one for let the patron decide what they want and how they want it. The other thing is when you skewer it, you've literally pierced that olive. So if you're looking for infusion, I see a benefit there, right? A toothpick will do nicely. I don't need something in my eye, thanks. Yeah. Oh, I see what he's saying, like a big skewer or something like that. Yeah, good point. Tradition says an odd number of olives is best for luck, never even. Didn't know that. I'll keep that in mind too. that is an excuse to have 3 olives instead of 2, in my opinion. One of my favorite Frank Sinatra yarns is that if he was keen on a dame, he'd offer his martini olives. If she took them, it was a done deal. Netter? I think we're unified on that one, right? Getting dirty. Now, this is an acquired taste, but once you get it, this is one you'll go back to time and again when you want that briny, salty hit. I agree. There is a line in, I want to say it was Quantum of Solace, where the femme fatale orders a dirty martini and just made it sound very, very appetizing. It can be a tricky one to pull off. Too much brine from the olive jar, and you'll end up with a taste similar to Sydney Harbor. A little salty there. So I'd shoot for 1/4 teaspoon into the mixed, and what you should get is a slightly cloudy, salty to the taste martini, but you still get the other flavors of the gin, etc. coming through. Yeah, I think every time I've ordered a dirty martini, it's been overly salty, and you may as well just drink the brine of the olive juice. What's the point? See, Netter says, I love green olives, so of course I'm taking yours. You mentioned if they are offered, what if they are simply taken? Kind of like the way you took my heart, so I think that works perfectly. So the lemon twist. The other classic garnish adds spice and literally zest to the martini. It is a very difficult cocktail to my mind. If the olive takes a back seat, the lemon is much more forward, and so keep that in mind when you order, and the gin should be chosen to match. Gin-wise, Bombay Sapphire is the classic match. It's almost all I drink. And any of the spicier styles that won't be overwhelmed in flavor by the citrus. But if you choose a more flavored gin, you may have too many things going on in the glass taste-wise. Yes, gin gin has subtle flavors. You don't want to overpower them. And the martini, likewise. I've also found it rare to get a decent lemon twist. Often it's too pretty to watch the bar person carving away, but when it's done, it's a thing of beauty. I chose the lemon twist for the north side version of the Santini to give the cocktail a hint of summer freshness, and we used backyard lemon for a local touch to cut through the strong spirit taste of the gin used. It also made an appearance in the Vesper Martini of James Bond. Exactly. Now, the cocktail onion. A personal favorite, and I've been known to bring my own jar to the bars I like because they never seem to have them. Fans of Mad Men will remember Roger Sterling's drinks his martini this way using vodka. You make your cocktail normally, but simply substitute cocktail onions. In addition, it adds a savory dimension to the martini, and it's not oniony at all. And the final sips are a delicious, full-flavored experience. Try it. I like mine with fuller flavored gin like Beefeater or Plymouth, and go easy on the vermouth. Drier is better in this combination. Again, have not had cocktail onions in my martinis yet, but I wouldn't immediately think oniony. I would think sweet. other garnishes without straying into more exotic territory or gimmick. Martini's other option can include orange rind with a dash of Lillet Blanc. Orange with Lillet Blanc. I do have Lillet Blanc from my Vesper Martini experiment, so I might have to try that one day going forward. I've had also thyme and sage leaves to bring out certain botanicals in the gin. That worked quite well. Hadn't considered that. We'll have to consider that. I am definitely going to be experimenting with my garnishes going forward on my martinis. Curtis says he likes Hendrix. And Nate is asking if I've tried Hendrix. It's made from cucumbers. I have not. I will take the recommendation and give it a try. But I draw the line at the Appletini. I agree. I don't like those artificially flavored drinks. I will try an Appletini if anyone can recommend a more natural way of infusing the booze with natural apples. Then maybe I will consider using a little bit of apple for garnish. But no, not an Appletini fan myself. So getting down to brass tacks, what is my garnish for tonight? It's one that wasn't even mentioned in these articles, and that is the garlic stuffed olive. That one would also work with your dirty martini. I am not having a dirty martini. I'm still having it very neat. Again, with Bombay Sapphire. Probably a Cochi Americano, which brings a little bit of sweetness to it, which I feel offsets that punch of garlic in it. Now, garlic stuffed olives tend to be jumbo green olives. You know, talk about plums, let me tell you. So if I'm going to do 3 of those, it's going to displace a lot of alcohol in that drink, which means I might end up having more of those myself tonight. See, that's luckily I am less likely to just pop those the way I would with blue cheese olives. So I should still have a decent quantity going forward. But yes, I will be having a very neat martini tonight with garlic stuffed olives. So there you go. Granny Smith apples, slice them in wedges, place them in a jar, fill the jar with layers of apple brandy. This is kind of small. I need to blow this up. And Calvados, let that marinate for a day and use one of those apple wedges in your martini. That sounds good. Yeah, I'll consider that. That is probably the way to go. Not these artificially flavored drink mixers. Jalapeno stuffed olives are yummy too. Seen them, never tried them. So I will consider that for the future, Big Al. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Did not know what kind of martini I would want to use those in. That's why I've never gone out of my way to get them. So coming up, of course, stay right where you're at. I'm going to show for you over to Wilkie's Movies and Music. So let's do a raid over there. Say hi to him for me. Again, make sure that you are subscribed to everybody that you see over here in the chat. Make sure that we build this community, and especially make sure you're subscribed to Aged Boomer, because he is so far behind on subscribers. It's crazy. Of course, Phantom of the Opera tomorrow night on Big Al Presents. Let's see. Big changes well, I consider them big changes coming to Geeky Geezers. Going to be introducing a new intro, and I think you may have noticed I've updated the promos a little bit, so trying to punch that up a little bit. New promos coming for... eventually I'm going to get around to doing some sort of a promo for Last Call. You'd think my flagship show I would have a promo done for, and I've done everything but that. And also going to start working on promos for other channels. I think I need to do more promos specifically to grow my channel and other channels. So I want to make sure that I do a promo for Netters Network, for Aged Boomer, for Big Al Presents, and so forth. All of you guys that are part of my network of channels, I want us all to prosper together, and I'll start doing more and more as I go along. So those are my plans going forward. Still working on the Cantina videos. I'm actually still working on the scripting, to be honest with you. So I hope to get a good deal of headway done on that this weekend. And that's all I can think about. Tune in tonight to Last Call, when by then I will have thought of any other things that I want to share with all of y'all. Because you are my people. You are my tribe. You are my family. And I want to keep you all in the loop as much as I possibly can. Damn you and Big Al for making me hungry. Well, it is lunchtime, right? Liquid lunch only starts with the liquid. You probably want to get some booze sponges in there too. But Friday afternoon is a great time to start front loading for the weekend. So, guys, I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Let's go over and encourage the heck out of Corey over at Wilkie's Movies and Music. Tell him I sent you so that I feel all important and useful. And hope to see you later tonight for Last Call. Take care, my friends. Bye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. chasing that jazz under the high noon.